As of right now, I think choosing XCN over Bitcoin is such a no-brainer for me, even though that's not financial advice. Now, why is that? It's because Bitcoin, even though the price is over $90,000, recovery is pretty good. Not to mention, even though there's a slight pullback, I think better days are ahead. But still, I think Bitcoin could maybe, as a best case scenario, hypothetically reach the price of $300,000 during this bull run. Now, only time will tell, but that's slightly over a 3x from here. Now, is XCN doing around a 3x way easier in theory than something like Bitcoin, let's say in the next 6 to 10 months? I would arguably say yeah, because even though XCN has had a pretty good recovery, doing a 3x from here doesn't even feel that difficult. And ultimately, a dollar is my price target. And keep in mind, a dollar is around a 46x from here. Bitcoin can't do that in the next, let's say, 6 to 10 months. Now, in the past, have we seen Bitcoin do very amazing? Of course, right? Bitcoin at one point was at the price of a dollar, but those days are behind. Like, I don't think Bitcoin could, like, let's say, go from this price to like, $1 billion or whatever, something crazy like that. There's going to be a limit to how amazing Bitcoin could hypothetically be from this point on in terms of percentage price increase, because it has grown so much, which isn't a bad thing. It just shows how amazing it is. But when we take a look at something like XCN, naturally, because it is an altcoin, I just kind of feel like there's a lot more to prove here. And I don't see why not, because first of all, when people take a look at this space, when they take a look at Ripple, when they take a look at Stellar, I think sometimes people get bored because sometimes people view those projects as being kind of like dinosaur-esque in a sense, where they're like, okay, it's done pretty good, but hypothetically, it can't do these record-breaking figures anymore. And now, is XCN doing around a 46x going to be the best upside of all time? No, but I just kind of feel like it provides an alternative, at least, to something like Ripple and Stellar, which people do like naturally. And I think during a fully fledged bull run, people are going to want to move on to other projects too. And I think XCN is waiting right there in the wings, because when we take a look at the two basic markets that Ripple and Stellar is focused on, global trade and finance, payments market, the Onyx protocol, which XCN is the native token of that, it's focused on exactly that. And if you think about it, who are really the competitors? I mean, there's not even 10 reputable competitors within this space, which is actually crazy to think about, because let's break this down. We take a look at XRP. Of course, that's number one. Stellar, aka XLM, of course, we know that's number two. Number three is XDC, but XCN could arguably easily beat that during a fully fledged bull run. Let's say as of right now, number four is XCN. Who's number five and number six? I would arguably say it's either ZBCN or XPR. Number seven, Swift Coin, but really that's like not even 10. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. When I take a look at this space, it's massive and there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of fans. It's proven that people do like Ripple. They do like something like Stellar. And now that there's no more uncertainty and fear because of the Ripple and SEC case allegedly dropping forever, I think that right there really opens up the gates in a sense that now these type of projects, they don't have this uncertainty. Not to mention, because of those years of the quote-unquote kind of fear and uncertainty, there wasn't that many competitors that wanted to really enter into this space, which is actually now a blessing in disguise, in my opinion, because take a look at it, right? We don't have 20 or 30 dynamic competitors like in the space of NFTs, DeFi, or like, let's say, AI. It's pretty tight-knit. And I think that naturally, if there isn't that many options to begin with, and then the market is massive and there's a lot of attention for it, hypothetically, the ones that do exist have this good probability to maybe be believed in, I should say. So this is why I like XCN so much. And Onyx isn't useless, because previously when we saw that major pump, I'm not talking about the pretty good recovery that we see as of right now, but the one, like, again, the pump that we had before that, where afterwards it had that major dump. When that pump happened, think about what really drove the hype for XCN. Other than that, it was this up-and-coming version of XRP or XLM. Pretty much nothing, right? I mean, if you really think about it. Now, arguably, I would say that fundamentally speaking, the Onyx protocol is doing better than ever before in history. I would arguably say that because let's just take a look at the basic facts. Take a look at what Onyx has planned ahead. The mainnet launch of Goliath. There's some very amazing layer 1 blockchain, at least supposedly. Not to mention, there's a lot of hype surrounding what the wallet could bring for the Onyx protocol, especially moving forward. People may be thinking, okay, hypothetically launching a mainnet of a layer 1 blockchain that, granted, there's a bunch of layer 1 blockchains out there, and number two, many projects out there also have a wallet, people may be thinking, okay, that's really nothing special. But if you think about it, at face value, that's a lot more than what it had going on for it not too long ago. And again, not too long ago, it did that well already without really much going on. So now that we at least have something, it's not the best, of course, but at least now we have something to grasp on. This is, I think, going to be a much better hypothetical run than what we saw before, especially if the market does go into fifth gear, especially once that altcoin season really hits, and especially as Bitcoin, let's say, goes back to the price of $100,000. Let's say it goes to 150,000, 200,000, 250,000, maybe 300,000. This is the way you take a look at it. Altcoins naturally, at least in some cases, because by nature, it's a lot less stable, in my opinion, than something like Bitcoin. When Bitcoin does go up, typically they really do go along with the ride. And sometimes they really do outperform Bitcoin in terms of percentage price increase. Now, on the flip side, though, when Bitcoin does dump, usually these altcoins, they're going to tank a lot harder. But I'm totally aware of that because unless I have like $5 million put in Bitcoin right now where it does like a 3x and I'm all good, or like, let's say $10 million, unless I have that, Bitcoin is just not worth it for me because the way you take a look at it is that a 3x, what is that really going to do? You know what I mean? As opposed to something like XCN, which could hypothetically do around a 46x, because let's say it were to go to the price of $1, that right there is much more appetizing for me. Now, $1, some people think is insane. However, I kind of disagree with that because take a look at XRP. Market cap is currently over $100 billion. And XCN at the price of $1, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $33 billion. I mean, come on. Take a look at, again, XRP right now, over $100 billion market cap. And I think we all know that really the market isn't in fifth gear yet. So imagine if XRP is doing that currently. Imagine what it would do, right? Once the market does really go into fifth gear. And then at that point, of course, somehow XCN could go along with the ride. I just don't see why this is something too crazy. This is just my opinion. Now, only time will tell. But as of right now, the only thing I can control is me, right? And that is just by accumulating more holding and just waiting, because I'm not going to give up when it comes to XCN. I just think that fundamentally, even though it may not seem the most amazing of all time, I just kind of feel like it's in the right place at the right time. Now, the SEC case is no longer kind of like, plaguing, I would say, or kind of like overshadowing the whole space in a sense that people are kind of scared of XRP or XLM. I feel like that's now gone. I feel like now people do understand just how amazing these projects are that are focused on global trade and finance, focused on the payments market. Not to mention, XCN has been proven to showcase that, hey, when the market did pretty good, it went along with the ride. So there's a lot of good factors here when it comes to XCN this time around. It's just a no-brainer for me, really. I still believe in it. $1, that's still my price target. And again, I think that XCN makes a lot more sense to me as of right now, as opposed to something like Bitcoin. And of course, I do understand that Bitcoin needs to hypothetically do very amazing for some of the attention to flow into XCN. So again, I'm not saying Bitcoin is bad, but I think that XCN is just a much better pick for me as of right now. And $1, that's my price target for this bull run. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee with Captain. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm a peace. Bye.